Welcome in everyone. In this video I'm going to be talking about guild bosses, more specifically a low level guild boss weapon and why I think it's important to have one. First of all though, this is the build that I'm going to be using to demonstrate in this video. It's all warrior charms. Basically all these hero charms are warrior charms, and I've got the extra chest piece with 3 more warrior charms and an exposed status. Now the exposed status is 60%, and that adds on to the exposed chance that you have on your weapon. It just straight up adds on to it. There's no weird mechanics or anything like that. So on the weapon I've got 90%, that 60% will add on and it will make 150%. I've got the Maverick Gauntlet. It's got the skin on it just because I think the skin is cool, but that is the Maverick Gauntlet, which is key to this strategy that I'm going to be showing. I'm going to show you what on 2 bosses as well. I'm going to show you the event boss, and I'm going to show you Dagon as well. And then this is the low level guild boss weapon. Mine is level 11. Level 1 would be better. What you want is you want 2 triangles and 2 circles. Focus in the triangles and expose chance in the circles. That's for your guild bosses. The focus is going to give you rage from the Maverick Gauntlet. Expose is going to multiply your damage. So if you want to go for high scores, then you want something like this. A problem that we face though is that to get high scores you need to rage in every round, and a lot of the bosses are really squishy. In particular event bosses, you can't punch them until like round 3, round 4, some of them, because they're so squishy. So you need the low level weapon so that you can swing it and you can get rage up and stuff like that without actually killing the boss off first before you get a chance to rage, which is why having it lower level is better. And then another problem that we have with this event boss in particular is it is resistant to expose. That's what the extra charm on the armor is for. Normally I don't have it, so I've taken off a hero power. I've taken off 20% hero power to add 60% exposed chance. Now resistance is 50%, so in order to guarantee exposed landing you need 150% because it's resisting 50% of it. That's why I've got the charm stacked the way that I have. So that's the build. Now the heroes, I've got Garen in the main slot. That's where the majority of the damage is going to come from. And then to pair with him you want Nijiro or Hermes, because the max star perk is plus 30% crit chance from warrior hero. It doesn't matter which one you have. Nijiro is a lot more efficient, a lot more cheaper to get max stars. You'll be able to get him max stars just from doing his hunt. So most people will have him. I happen to have Hermes maxed out, so I'll be using Hermes, but their perk is exactly the same. And then Garen's max star perk is 50% crit chance against cult enemies. This guild boss is cult, so he's going to have 80% crit chance. Basically all his shots are going to result in a crit, which is 1.5 times on all his damage. And this is the best setup for using Garen for guild bosses. And then into the guild boss itself, you have got 7 rounds and 12 turns to beat all 7 rounds, which means you need to beat 2 rounds in 1 turn each, so that you can have 2 turns for every other round. And you can see there I just used potions for the first 2 rounds, rage potions, so I was able to rage in 1 turn. And the reason that you need 2 turns for each round is because to expose with the weapon it's the 4th action, so you need to take a full turn in order to get exposed and to gain rage from the Maverick Gauntlet as well. Now Glashtyn, you can't punch him until round 4. When you get to round 4 you can punch him twice, and then on to round 5 it starts to get a little bit tougher, but for the first 3 rounds he is properly squishy. And now onto the point of the video. Midoki have just revealed that the next level cap will be level 70. As we level up to level 70, our gauntlets are going to get a lot stronger. So I'm quite concerned, because we can't punch this boss until round 4 without one shot in it. And when the gauntlets get stronger, we might not be able to punch them until round 6, round 7. So if you are after high scores and stuff, and you don't have a low level weapon, like this one that is geared towards guild bosses, I think it's going to be quite rough, and I think we're just going to be, the scores for the bosses are going to get lower because they're going to be a lot easier to kill. But this is the method that I use, and this is how I got the high score for Glashtyn. At the time of recording, this is the highest score recorded for Glashtyn so far. Pixel is my guildmate, so quite smug posting this in this video. Sorry, Pixel. And then on to the next boss that I'm going to show you. This is Dagon. Now, the current world record for guild boss damage across all bosses was scored against this boss. Not by me, I got beaten. Still a little bit salty about that. But this is the method that I use for this boss. So I used a potion in round 1 to rage in 1 turn. And then in round 2, if you get the crits, you swing, punch, punch. If you get the crits, you can rage in 1 turn as well. This boss is strong enough. This is expert mode. And you see how much tougher this one is compared to the event boss. You can punch this one twice on round 2 and you can rage in 1 turn, and then that leaves you 2 turns for every other round, and you can expose it freely and then rage. I'm using exactly the same build, exactly the same gauntlet, exactly the same weapon, exactly the same method basically, but you just don't have to be so gentle with it. You can punch from round 1, you can punch, but you can only punch once on round 1. Round 2 you can punch twice, and then it gets gradually tougher through each round. But this is the method that I use, and with my amount of hero power, which is 535% I believe, I can use a critter base on round 6 and on round 7. My queen critter is only 3 stars. I know people who have got all 7 stars, but mine is only 3 stars, so that might make a difference. And if it does crit on round 6, there's a good chance you'll kill it. But in this run, I got lucky and it didn't crit on round 6. You see there, it does a reasonable amount of damage. And this boss is vulnerable to expose as well. So there's a good chance that critter is going to land the expose from her base power. So you don't really have to worry about taking the turn with your weapon first. And you see on round 7 there, it crit, but it did take a good chunk of its life off of it. And yeah, you're trying to get the health down as low as you possibly can without killing it, and then finish off with a rage. And this was a decent run. I got 11.2 million. My high score for this is 13.6 million, but I wasn't recording unfortunately when I got that score. But yeah, that's how I do it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have been James B09. Good luck out there.